Today, we're talking with Rene Oswald, who is a registered nurse, author, and an advanced practitioner of health. After she was diagnosed with a rare, debilitating, and incurable disease, Rene found healing through adopting a diet of whole, organic, raw food. She spent the next few years learning how to make these healing foods into tasty and easy-to-prepare dishes, and founded the Transitioning to Living Cuisine Program. Rene, could you tell us how you happened to develop this program?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I started my program after overcoming an illness many years ago with this diet, with a raw vegan diet. And I started teaching because I realized there was so much need for a simpler way to eat healthy. So many of the programs were very complicated or used very expensive ingredients. And I thought, I've got to figure out a way, because I love to cook and I love to figure out ways to make things inexpensively with common ingredients. So I developed this program to help people. And it's been so exciting. I've loved every minute of it.
I think I read on your website that you yourself were sick and were looking, and you were searching for something before that. Is that right?
That's right. I was a registered nurse working in the healthcare field, and I got sick myself with a rare autoimmune disease called mastocytosis. And at the time when they diagnosed me, I was extremely sick because it took 6 years for them to figure out what was wrong with me. So by that time, I was deathly sick. I really felt like I was dying. And they said there was nothing they could do for me. There was no medication that would help me. I was basically on my own. They did want to give me medications to relieve some of the symptoms, but the side effects of those medications seemed worse than the disease itself. So I opted to look for an alternative way out. And I found that diet was the answer. And I started getting healthier and healthier with following a raw vegan diet. And I was amazed because I did not learn anything about nutrition in nursing school. And it was quite a shock to find this was the answer to such a huge problem. And that's how I ended up on this path.
Had you been a vegetarian or a vegan before that?
Not at all.
No, really?
No, I was eating the standard American diet. Got sick.
Where did you first find out about that information then, and what led you in that direction?
I had candida, overgrowth in my body, and that led me to read books on health and macrobiotics and changing my diet. And so I eventually started eating vegetarian, and I found that when I took the meat and dairy out of my life, I was a lot healthier. I had already taken bread out of my life for the candida problem, so it was just a gradual transition into healthier eating. And every step I took, I kept getting healthier and healthier, and realized, I'm on the right path. This is what I need to do.
Was there any particular book that really resonated with you, or was it a lot of different books?
It was a lot of different books, but the main book for my healing was Bernard Jensen. He wrote a book called Tissue Healing Through Bowel Management, which at the time I thought, this is the craziest title I've ever seen for a book because I couldn't take it with me wherever I went. I had to put a book cover on it. But it healed me. Oh, my gosh. I followed it religiously, and it really helped heal my body. And I also went to the Optimum Health Institute in California, which spent 3 weeks there and learned so much about preparing the food and why it was so important to stick to a raw vegan diet when you're healing, and that really helped me.
I've heard of that place. Who runs that?
It's run by Unity Church, is who used to run it, and I'm pretty sure it's still run by the same group. And they have another institute in Austin, Texas now. So they have two. And there's other health institutes all over the country that are great.
Was that a place you went to and stayed for like 3 or 4 weeks?
Right.
Okay.
I spent 3 weeks there.
So it took you a couple years to feel your best after getting on that diet? Or?
Yeah, it took me about 4 years to start feeling really good.
You haven't looked back, it sounds like.
No, have not looked back at all. I just keep looking forward, and I'm loving my life now, and I'm healthier than I've ever been.
And at what point did you decide to teach other people then? So it worked so well for you.
I started teaching before I was 100% healed because I felt the changes in myself. And I was actually teaching cooked vegan classes to start with. And then because I was eating all raw, I just started incorporating more raw recipes in my classes and didn't call it a raw food class. I just called it a healthy cooking class. And then a few of my students said, all these recipes are raw. They didn't complain about it. They just realized it. It was great. And they started healing. And I saw so many amazing recoveries that I'd never seen working as a nurse, with diabetes and cancer and heart disease and Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and, you name it, MS. It was amazing, all the healing I saw on this diet.
You have some real success stories, and I was wondering if you would just tell our listeners about the person who had Alzheimer's and how successful that was.
Yeah, it was quite a shock. We helped a 91-year-old man. Actually, he had dementia for about 6 months where he wasn't remembering things, was repeating himself, was asking the same question over and over again. And we spent 3 weeks with him and completely changed his diet, helped find a new caretaker for him who was making his meals, and she started preparing all healthy vegan meals. And within 3 weeks, he had his memory back completely. And I wish now, hindsight, that I had videotaped that entire process, because it's hearsay now, but I'm ready to help somebody else with Alzheimer's now and see that kind of reversal. It was quite amazing.
Yes, and I really enjoyed hearing about that. One thing that I was thinking is that it's so prevalent now, it seems like, and it's on everybody's mind. That's such a fear. Everybody that I talk to says, oh my gosh, I'd rather be dead than to live like that. So to hear that there might be something that actually reverses it, that's pretty amazing.
Right, it is. It is. And there's more and more people that are seeing the benefits to their memory eating this way, not just with Alzheimer's, but just any memory loss or any kind of change in as we age is improved when they start eating healthier.
So you not only are teaching the classes, but you also have an active website and blog and other things you're developing online. You want to tell us about that?
Yes, I'm so excited about my membership site, which I've been working on for about a year now. And it's going to be a very interactive site with a forum where people can ask questions every day. And there'll be videos and articles and food facts and inspirational items also, lots of inspirational videos and stories. And I want this to be a real positive place for people to come. They can visit anytime they want and get motivated to creating not only recipes, but aspects of health, exercise, and spiritual healing and emotional healing. I'm really strong into the emotional freedom technique, EFT, the tapping. I really want to help people with that because it's helped me so much. And I've also helped so many of my clients with EFT. Many of my clients come to me to learn how to cook, preparing the food. And after consultation, we realize that there's a lot of emotional healing that needs to take place first. And that's one of the reasons that so many people overeat, because of all the emotional trauma they've had in their life. So that's a really exciting part for me also.
I've heard about that, the EFT. I don't know much about it, but it sounds interesting. Can you talk about that a little bit?
EFT was developed by Gary Craig several years ago. It's actually tapping on different acupressure points on the body to release old fears and old traumas. He started with veterans, and he worked with veterans who were having nightmares from the Vietnam War, Vietnam vets who had been having nightmares for years, since the war, and 30 years ago. And after just a few weeks of tapping, and some even less than that, they stopped having nightmares and started sleeping through the night, which was totally amazing since they've been on medications for all that time with no relief. And Gary Craig has done amazing things. And since then, so many people are following this program with EFT that there are dozens of books out now by people that have had success. And I personally had a fear of heights that I overcame with EFT and went out to the Sears Tower in Chicago last year and stood out on the platform, jumping up and down. I was so excited to actually think it's exciting to be high up in the air and not be dreadfully afraid. So that's really exciting for me. And he's helped people with every kind of fear you can imagine. It's something that you do for yourself. You don't have to go to treatment for the rest of your life. You work on it yourself by tapping in the comfort of your home, and it takes 5 minutes a day, and you can overcome so many things, so many obstacles in your life.
Would it help with the fear of airplanes?
Oh, yeah. Yes, definitely. Fear of flying is one of the highest ones. Yep. It's great.
And a completely hypothetical question from Judy.
Does it help mostly with emotions, or does it help with physical as well?
As well, with pain.
Oh, it does?
Yes. It helps with pain because most of our pain is caused from emotional trauma in our life. And we don't even know oftentimes what is causing the pain, but when you tap on the pain, it releases those emotions that are causing that physical pain. It's quite amazing.
Well, it sounds amazing.
It is.
I have to do some more research about that.
Yes.
Is there any one book on that topic that you might recommend to people just to get an overview?
There are quite a few. If you just look at EFT on the internet, Gary Craig wrote the initial book. His is kind of technical, and that's why I think so many other people have written books, because he's a scientist and it's kind of hard to read. But there are so many books, and there's so many people on YouTube. Brad Yates is one that has a lot of YouTube videos on EFT that have helped a lot of people. A lot of children are helped very fast with EFT.
I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the book that you wrote. Is it all raw food?
It's all raw. There's 350 recipes, but I wrote the book in 7 levels so that people wouldn't be overwhelmed. They're just opening up a book with 350 recipes. It starts with green smoothies, and if people follow it for 30 days, making their green smoothies, they see amazing health changes in their life, and then they want to go on to level 2. But they're not overwhelmed because it only takes 5 minutes to make a green smoothie. So they're making that one change in their life. It becomes a habit. And then they go on to the next level, which is making salad dressings and pâtés, veggie pâtés. And so they're taking it one step at a time, so they'll stay with that. It's sort of like when people, January 1st, make 30 different New Year's resolutions, and then by February 1st, they're not doing anything. That's what I was striving for, is to make it so that people would love it. They would make it something, a habit of making this one change in their life, and then they'd want to do more. So if they make a change every 30 days, by the end of the year, they're having amazing health changes, and they're eating so much more raw food. I don't think it's important that everyone eat 100% raw. For me, I love it. I want to be 100% raw the rest of my life because it really feels good in my body. But some people do better if they eat 85% raw or 75% raw. I think the minimum is about 50 to really feel good. But everybody's different. And I think it's more important that they eat more plant-based, whole food, plant-based food than anything. And if they are eating beans and rice and lots of roasted vegetables or steamed vegetables, then they're better off than if they're eating 100% raw, if they're eating too many nuts and seeds and high fats, because you really have to look at what the quality of the food is they're eating more than it is if it's raw or not.
Tell us the name of your book again.
My book is called Transitioning to Living Cuisine, and it's available on my website at Raw Food Rene and also on Amazon. And I also have a DVD, a 1-hour DVD that explains the first level of the program and the best way to choose your fruits and vegetables. And I have several ebooks also that are different from the book. I have ebooks that go along with the book, but I also have a Juice Feasting for Life ebook because I have a very special place in my heart for juice feasting, and I've learned a lot about that on my journey. It's helped heal me a lot, over the years. And my longest juice feast was a 52-day juice feast, which I share in the book on how that has really helped heal me more than anything, is fasting and feasting.
Can you tell us what the difference is between feasting and fasting?
Yes, that's a very good question. The big difference in feasting and fasting is that when you fast, you're only usually consuming about 3 8-ounce glasses of juice a day and then lots of water. So most of the time when you're fasting, you're very weak because you're not getting a lot of nutrients and your body's doing a lot of healing and detoxing. So you really can't often do fasting for more than a week or so. But when you feast, you're consuming a gallon of juice a day, which is much different. You're getting all the nutrients you need, and you can do it for longer. I've seen people juice feast for up to 90 days. And if you have weight to lose, if you've got lots of detoxing to do, you'll feel amazing energy when you feast. And you can do it longer, and you can stay nourished longer. And the reason I wrote the book is because there have been some documentaries out there about juice fasting and feasting that don't explain how to do it, but just say how wonderful it is. And so there have been a lot of people trying to help promote it, but they're not doing it correctly. And that's the big thing, is they have to get enough of the right nutrients. You have to have enough greens in your juices, the right ratio. Celery, cucumber is the most important part in your greens. And the problem is a lot of people are just putting apples in their juice or oranges and not putting anything green in their juice. And that's where they run into problems.
I looked through your recipes and they look amazing. There's a lot of them that I really want to try, and I haven't gotten myself organized to do that yet. But you have something you call shloop.
Salop?
Salop. Tell us what that is.
Okay. A salop is a cross between a salad and a soup. Because I love soup and I love salad, but I prefer to have some chunkiness in my soup. So I developed the salop because with the salop, you're making a salad dressing that's almost the consistency of soup. It's not a high-fat salad dressing because it's more of a soup base. So you can have a really creamy, luscious salad dressing without worrying about the fat. That's what a salop is.
And you had a recipe that sounded really good that was that, and I went and bought all the ingredients, and then I never made it. What do you do for people like me?
That's why I created so many videos, because that seems to help people. If they watch me make it, they'll get motivated to make the recipes, and also starting one level at a time, where they start with the green smoothies and then the salad dressings and start with the easier recipes and then go on to the more complicated. But most of my recipes aren't complicated. They're 15 minutes or less. I only have a few recipes that take longer than 15 minutes because I know everybody's concerned with the time it takes to make the recipes. So I tried to develop everything in a quick and easy way.
Rene, you do quite a bit of traveling and teaching on the road.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do.
And you're going to California next.
Yes, right. We'll be teaching a 5-day class in California. It's a 35-hour class, 7 hours each day. And everyone that attends will be certified as a TLC home chef after that program. And that's my goal, is to teach these classes all around the country and hopefully teach people how to teach the class after I leave, because then the whole journey can continue and people can keep learning. And I hope that's going to happen.
Did you want to stick around a couple of days and give us a private lesson?
Sure. I'd love to.
Excellent. No, I really have wanted to incorporate some more raw into my diet. And just like Judy, I struggle with it seeming overwhelming or complicated. And, I get all this great produce from the CSA basket and don't know quite what to do with it sometimes.
And wait a second. You just got a dehydrator, too.
Oh, wow. That's great.
We've got a lot of the tools.
Well, we'll have fun.
So do you use a dehydrator quite a bit?
We use a dehydrator, food processor, and a Vitamix are the main appliances used. And then I love my little kitchen gadgets like my spiruli to make vegetable noodles and the mandolin, and, those little kitchen gadgets are fun. It's really nice when you're on the road because, you can create a salad anywhere as you're not driving down the road, as you're a passenger sitting in the seat going down the road.
I could just see you driving down the road making these little noodle things.
Yeah.
I don't have a dehydrator, and I guess I could get one if I really get motivated. Is there a tapping thing for motivation?
Yes. Yes, there is. There's tapping for everything.
So is it critical to have a dehydrator to do this on a regular basis?
You don't have to have a dehydrator, but it's really nice if you like crackers and cookies and pizza crusts and things like that. And the dehydrator is so nice because you can make all these things ahead of time. And then you always have all this staple stash of healthy beginnings in your kitchen. So when it's time to prepare a meal, it's easy. Grab a pizza crust out of the freezer and throw some veggies on it, make a cheese sauce out of nuts real fast, and you have a pizza within 10 to 15 minutes. And if you have the crackers, the same thing. You make bread. There's a raw bread that we make that's delicious. You take that out of the freezer, and by the time you put your toppings on, the bread is defrosted and ready to eat.
So these things, like bread and crackers and pizza crust, you can freeze those?
Right, yeah. And the burgers.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See, I had this image of putting the stuff in a dehydrator and then maybe not eating it all and it going to waste. I didn't
No, that's what's so great.
Oh.
In fact, I recently helped a friend who she said, I've got all these tomatoes I don't know what to do with. I got them from the CSA, and I don't know what to do with all these. So we made crackers. We made tomato, flax, veggie crackers, and we made marinara sauce and put that in the freezer. And so there's no waste. That's what's so nice about freezing and dehydrating is anytime you have anything extra, there's no waste. As we were getting ready to leave for this trip, I had a bunch of frozen strawberries and some other fruit in the freezer. No, I don't want to leave all that. So I just defrosted it, threw it in the Vitamix with some bananas, made fruit leathers, and made crackers, and took them with us on our journey, and nothing was wasted.
Can I come live with you?
Sure. We also have hurricanes in Florida. So when they, no, I wasn't talking about that, but when the hurricane season is about, and they say, we're going to have a hurricane in 2 weeks. Oh, then you take everything out of the freezer and make stuff with it. And then there's no waste if the electricity goes out for a week or two.
That's handy.
I teach a hurricane preparedness class also.
Do you really?
Yes. Which is good anywhere, even up here. Like if you have a snowstorm and you're without electricity, or they have ice storms in New York and they're without electricity. So,
do you have a favorite meal?
My favorite meal is just a big bowl of fruit. That's my favorite meal. But I eat pretty simply now. I don't make a lot of the foods that I transitioned into. When I first went off the standard American diet, I wanted my pizza and my, all these traditional lasagna and all these things. And now I prefer just to eat quite simply, just a big salad or, a big bowl of fruit with...
So your tastes really changed.
Yeah,
and
they do.
And that makes it a lot easier.
It is very easy, especially traveling. It's real easy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to encourage everyone to check out my website. And if anyone wants to email me, my email address is Rene, RENE, .Oswald, OSWALD, @att.net. And I'll send you a free ebook with 30 recipes. And I'll also let you know when the membership site is up and going, because I would love to have everyone join that membership site and get all their questions answered on a daily basis, just to keep everybody motivated and doing this, because it's changed my life and I just want to help other people live this way. It's amazing.
Well, your passion really shines through, and I think that is... Nothing sells better than that, because you can tell you've really had success with it in not only your life, but in the people you teach.
Mm-hmm. It's just amazing watching people heal that I'd never seen heal before in the medical world. And to know it's just what they're eating. It's just our diet. It's so simple, We really have to spread this word.
And you have a unique perspective since you were a registered nurse. Mm-hmm. Transitioning to this, you have both sides that you've seen,
right?
And to see the difference, that's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for coming in and sharing this with us today. I can't wait to check out your site and your book a little bit more and share it with other people. So
thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure meeting you both.
That was Rene Oswald, raw food guru and author, and she was just telling our listeners how to get her free ebook at her website, reneoswald.com. And I hope you enjoyed that interview and learned something more about raw food. She's pretty amazing.
She certainly is. We had a good time. We roped her into coming over to one of our houses and giving like a raw food demo, and in my kitchen, actually. It was really fun.
It was. She had some great recipes.
Yeah.